Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. We're going to go ahead and do this training on how to edit the builder and how to maneuver around in the back of the website. I thought I'd start out by going over your account options. If I click in the drop down next to my name, I'll be taken to account settings. From here, I can update my account information, which would be my username and my password, by hitting the update info button. And then the rest of the account settings will actually cover in the builder itself. The other thing I want to cover from this area, though, is the chat. Our online support system is available for you. You can either chat with support, you can email support, or you can call us in support. And we'd be happy to assist you with any questions that you have. Now, before we get into the builder, there are two areas I want to cover in the dashboard. And the first is the blog. So let's go ahead and come over here to the blog option. And you'll notice I've created some blogs. I'm going to go ahead and create another post and just show you how this works. The blog is a great feature for adding content to your website that is updated, and that's helpful for search engine optimization. So I'll give my blog a title. I'll add some text. I'll add an image. And I can either browse my hard drive or I can go to my image library, insert an image from there. I can add a tag to my blog. And now that I have the basics, I can go ahead and save it. One thing I want to point out on the publish date is that you can change this. So if you're going to be importing blogs in from another system, as you're adding those blogs in, you can put the original publish date down for your blog. So let's go ahead and save. And now that my blog has been saved, so I've gone ahead and published that blog. And if I come over here to my blog page on the front of my site, taking just a minute to load, I'll see that blog that I just added. Okay, so that's the blog option. Let's come over here now to listings. And we do have two options here. We have the option to add your agent ID number and the MLS that you're in to get your listings to pull through. And those can then be enhanced. So if I hit edit on a listing, I can add a Matterport tour, I can add more photos, or I can use the photos from the MLS, and I can add a virtual tour. Let's come over here to exclusive listings. From this area, I can add a listing that may not be on the MLS for whatever reason. So I'm going to hit edit. And you would just go through the same steps that I went through, only instead of editing, you'd add the listing, obviously. And then you have some templates you can use on these listings. So I'll select a template. I can then customize the template. And save. So now that I've saved the details of this listing, I can view it. And this is going to be the saved link to this listing. So this can be an exclusive listing that no one has access to without this link. But as you can see, this is the template that's going to be used. And that's how to add an exclusive listing. To get back to that main dashboard, just click the R in the upper left corner. And I'm now back to my main dashboard. Let's go ahead and click on the Edit Website button now. I'm going to hit Edit Site in the lower left corner. And this will take me over to my sitemap. I have my Pages options. And let's go to Site Details before we get into editing a specific page. So I have the name for my website, and the name will be what appears in the tab when someone types this URL into their browser. I can give my website a domain, and usually we set this up for you, but if for some reason you're doing it yourself, you would first delete out the subdomain and then enter in the domain name. And you'd then need to save it. You can set up forced registration. And what this does is this requires someone to register with their information before they're able to view property details. So I can either turn this off, or we recommend that you set it to at least 1 or 2 page views so that that helps out with lead generation. So that is the site settings. I'll go ahead and save these settings. Now let's come over here to theme settings. As you can see, I can give my website different colors. I would just click on the color and then use the slider to the left to select a new color. Or you can enter in the color code from this area. Once you have your color set, you can save the theme settings, but you can also change the font as well as the body. So you have the option to change your font out, and you can upload a logo and a favicon. The favicon is the little image that will show in the upper left corner of your website. Now, if you are going to use a favicon, you will need to generate a specific file type. So you can go to favicon-generator.org and upload your image, create your favicon, and download it to your website. And once you've downloaded that favicon, it will be saved as a .ico file type, and you can then upload it from here, and it will display in the upper left corner of the tab when someone clicks on your website. So again, that was favicon-generator.org, and the file type is a .ico. Okay, so those are the theme settings. I'll go ahead and save my theme settings. And now let's come over to My Information. From here, you can enter in your information. You can add an agent photo, and you can add your social media links. And these will then display in the footer of your website. From the Analytics tab, you can add analytics to your website. You can add any of the Facebook, Bing, BuyerLink, Google tags that you need to. And these are not required. This is just if you're using this kind of tracking or analytics, you can enter that information in from here. And then we have our integrations tab. And from here, you can integrate into other systems. I have this tab hooked up to Brivity. You can also integrate with Facebook or Google, or you can add an email parser. And that's just an email address. And when someone fills out a form on my website, I would then get an email confirmation to this email as well. And if you have custom code to add to your website, you can add that from this area. Now, the most common reason for adding code would be, for example, to include a chat. So this chat would be custom code that you would add to your website. Other than that, you probably won't be adding a lot of code. So don't worry about this area unless you have a piece of code. And even if you do have a piece of code and for whatever reason you're uncomfortable adding it, feel free to just paste that into chat and ask us to add it, and we'd be happy to do that for you. From the page redirects area, you can create a custom URL that forwards to a redirect to a regular path page. So for example, I have a URL that's buying in Knoxville, and I've created a custom URL that goes to Knox is awesome. So when someone types this in, show you how that works. It's going to forward over to my other URL. Now, after you add your custom redirects in, you will need to save and publish. So just keep that in mind. Those are the settings. And now let's come over here and add a page to the website. So I'm going to give the page a name. And I'll go ahead and hit save. And then I can begin to edit my page. And we have several blocks that you can use to edit with. Obviously, I'll need to give my page a header. And when you're building out interior pages, the header you'll want to use is this top header. And you'll notice it's going to look a little different. If I click on the checkbox, that's going to pull in my information dynamically. And you don't need to worry about this looking different. It's going to look the same once we're live. They all look like this in the back. But once it goes live, it will pull the information through. It just says menu 1, menu 2, etc. because it's dynamic. And your footer is always going to be saved as a favorite. So let me click on my heart icon. And you'll notice I have a footer block saved for me, so I can add that in. And now I'm able to go ahead and add in content to my page. So let's go ahead. I want to start out with some basic content. I'm going to add an image. So now that I've added this image, I want to change it. So I'm going to click the Details option. And then I'm going to click the lower left corner of this image. And you'll notice it's been outlined in a red dotted outline. And I'll go ahead and click on where it says background image. Next to that, there's a field. I'm going to click on that field. And I can either use one of my images, I can upload an image from my hard drive, or I can use an image that's already been loaded into the website. Let's see, okay. And that's how to add an image in. Let's try this one more time. Okay. Now that I've got an image added in, I'm going to go ahead and add a content block. And I'm going to add basic content. And I'm going to come over here and add a title. So let's go ahead and click on the content option, and then I can change out the text. So I'll hit About Maryville. So that's how to change out text. You just click the content option, mouse over the text you want to change until you get that red dotted outline, and then you can change it. Now let's hit blocks again because I want to come back over here into my blocks. I'm going to add some properties for the Maryville area. So I'll mouse over my properties block, drop that down. And that went in above my other blocks, so I'll go ahead and just move it around a little bit here. Let's try grabbing this one more time. There we go. Oops, it's taking just a minute. Let's try refreshing this page. And I didn't save this page, so a few things are going to be gone. So we'll just quickly add things again. So I refresh. I'm in Maryville, Tennessee. Let's add that header. Add the image. Add the footer. And one thing I should have done that I didn't do, but if you're stuck and you need to refresh, just be sure you save first. That was the mistake that I made. But I'm glad I made that mistake. Now you can see what not to do. And then let's go ahead and go back over here to basic content. I'll add that title in. I won't take the time to change it right now since we've already gone over how to do that, but let's add these featured properties down in the right area. So I wanted it below my centered title. Actually, let's change this just so that I can have this page. So I'll say about Maryville. And now to get the featured property set up the way I'd like, I'm going to click the Details option. And then I'm going to click on the block again. And this will bring up my Details editor. So I'll select the state and the MLS. And then I have all this other criteria I can use. I'm just going to focus in on the city. So I'll select the city of Maryville. I want the maximum price to be 500,000. Okay. So now I have my page built out the way I'd like. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And now I'm going to hit the publish option. And my site has been queued for publishing and it will be ready in just a few minutes. Once my page has been created, it will display at the back here is the last page. But let's go ahead and move it around a little bit and I can show you how that works. So right now it's just at the very bottom. All you need to do to move a page is drag a page around. So let's drag it up here. And I actually want to move it into the Tennessee section. And now I'll just save, or actually I'll publish all. And that will be taken care of in just a few minutes. This site hadn't been queued yet, so it's being queued up to publish. While we're on the site, on the pages area, let's go ahead and click on the drop down next to a page and talk about all the different options you have in the drop down. So you can edit a page, you can update the page link. So for example, if I want the name to be one thing and the link to be different, I can create that from here. You can duplicate a page, and let's click on Page Settings. From here, you can give each page a title and a meta tag. You can include a header, or you can include code in the header or in the body. And this code again would be something like if you have a chat widget or something similar to that, you might have a piece of code that you enter in from here. And those are your different page edit options. Let's see if our site has published yet. Doesn't look like it's published, so we won't worry about seeing how it looks live right now. But once the site does publish, my page that I created will display down here in this drop down. And that's an overview of the builder. As you can see, it's just a matter of closing out tabs to get back to the dashboard. So let's go ahead and I'll close this chat out as well. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us through our support chat. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. But I want to go ahead and thank you for attending this training today and have a great rest of your day.